We are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. As always, it's 8 a.m. It is currently 29 degrees outside. It is cold. The groundwater is frozen. However, it's not super windy, so it doesn't feel that bad outside. Honestly, we actually drove to the gym because we thought it'd be too cold to run in it, and after we got out, we were like, man, we should have run home after this. It was cold, but it wasn't like I said, without that wind chill, it's really not that bad kind of cold. So keep that in mind. Like I said, it is chilly, so dress up, but it's actually going to get up to almost 60 degrees today, but it's going to get really, really windy. And with that wind, it's going to get up to 60, and then it's going to bring it back down to I want to say it's going to be like 19 degrees tomorrow morning, so it's going to get cold. And then next week, we're looking at like -1, -7. Monday and Tuesday of next week, we're looking at a high of 9 and a high of 15 degrees. Sunday, a high of 13 degrees with snow. Monday as well, snow. So, like I said, it is going to be warm today, but like I said, I don't know how warm it's going to feel because it's going to bring in that wind, and that wind's going to bring in this horrible cold front in it. So we're going to get a day of 60 and then immediately drop. Now, hopefully that 60 degrees will keep that ground warm enough to melt that snow so it's not like a factor for traffic and travel on Sunday and Monday. So
100%.
Either way, be prepared for that. It's going to be a relatively nice day today, other than the wind. So don't worry about that. Now, traffic conditions going into Tulsa right now, it's pretty heavy traffic right now. However, it seems to be flowing pretty decently. It's a very steady pace. Like I said, it's always right here by 76th Street. It just slows down right there because I'm looking out the window here out of our suite, and the traffic's moving much better right here than it is right there before it gets that 76th Street entrance ramp going into Tulsa. So it's always right there where it just
The on-ramp is.
So now it's almost coming to a standstill by the looks of it. So keep that in mind on your commute this morning, folks. It is slow and steady, it appears. So, and it's just getting slower and slower the more cars I see on the road. So be advised. Now, big events. We had that chamber speech.
Yep.
And it was supposed to be the governor, supposed to be Governor Stent, but it turned out to be the lieutenant governor. And why don't you mention it, Chad? You were there. I was supposed to go there with you, but we had missed an employee at the office, so I had to stick around at the other job. So, how was the speech? Was there anything profound?
No, it was fine. The speech went as well as you could imagine. It's politician. Politicians hear themselves talk for hours. So,
if you had to give, what was the big takeaway from it? Like, if there was one or two things that you had to say, what was like one of the bigger takeaways from the speech?
Owasso's doing good and Oklahoma's doing good. Like I said, we're below the country and living in the price of living. I said the average income's up, the price of living's down. Even though, said with the way that the economy's been going, it doesn't feel like it to a lot of us, I would say.
Yeah, I would say with insurance prices just continuing climbing up. But like I said, again, that's not an Oklahoma thing as much as it is a national policy thing and a national reaction to the economic policies that are being enforced kind of thing.
That's right.
Like the cost of lumber going up. So, like, I actually had a conversation with someone on Facebook who was one of my college friends, and he's like, why has my insurance gone up from,
59
50 bucks a month? It's gone up $50 a month now. He's like, I can maybe see a $10 or $20 increase, but then I was kind of explaining to him, I was like, look, it's inflation catching up from COVID, the cost of labor going up, the value of the dollar going down, but the cost of labor and parts going up. So, the dollar is just worth less now. Not worth less, but it's worth less than it was. It's not too far away from becoming totally worthless if things continue the way they're going. But that's what I was trying to explain. I was like, look, and not to mention here in the state of Oklahoma, about 40% of drivers in the state of Oklahoma are driving around uninsured. Now, there are several factors, and I always tell people this. It's as simple as sometimes it's people who forget to pay their premium and they're without coverage for a couple of days. But, in my opinion, and I think the lieutenant governor kind of talked about this too, a lot of it's illegal immigration. A lot of it is we have a lot of illegals here who don't have insurance policies and are getting in wrecks with people, so that's why policies are going up, because people who are getting in wrecks with these folks are having to use their own insurance to pay for wrecks they shouldn't have had to pay for, because those people who hit them's liability insurance should have paid to fix their car. But so we're suffering from the illegal immigration factor through our insurance prices. All the prices are going to go up because of this, not going to go down. Like, the only thing that's going to go down is the people who are building your houses are going to be able to pay these guys less to do that job.
Yes.
Period. But they're going to still keep upcharging you for the cost of that house to keep up with the fair market price for those buildings. Yeah. So keep that in mind.
Well, it's the same thing that kind of happened whenever I went in to get my car repaired after, remember, the little deer incident. I went in there and I said, I'm going to see how much it is. I'm going to go in and see how much they can fix it for me without me using my insurance. And I said, sure enough, like, here they come. I said, oh, we can do this. It's not going to completely fix it, but it'll make it look brand new. And they're doing all this stuff to cut costs to make things less expensive. But then I was just like, okay, well, my deductible is it's just slightly over my deductible, so I'm just going to go with my insurance. Then they go, oh, okay, well, then we're just going to charge everything then, because, I said, whereas they went from penny pension mode, now they've gone to, oh, the insurance is covering it. We're going to charge everything.
Absolutely. That's another huge factor, is all of these car repair shops, like I said, they could repair this stuff for very cheap. It's like we're going to repair it this way. We're going to just bind up a paint job that matches it, touch it up, and use a plunger to pull that little dent out, and that's about it. Now, when you use your insurance, they just go, we're going to buy a whole new door, put the whole new door on, we're going to max out what we can charge your insurance, max out what we can pay our repairmen and stuff do this. It's like it's essentially borderline a money laundering scheme going on here. Like, they're just going, well, max out the everything on the policy, pay everybody in the shop as much money as we can. And that's why, it's a booming business, car repair right now, because there's no incentive not to use all of the money that's on the policy, which is why another reason why rates skyrocket, because, it's not like back in the day where they'd be like, yeah, we can do this for $10,000. Now it's like, how much is the liability insurance on the policy? $50,000? That's what we need to fix the car. And it's kind of the new business model. So be aware of that, folks.
And that's partially the reason why insurance rates are going up too.
There's a ton of factors as why, like I said, illegal immigration being one. Lack of, people maxing out, all the repair shops maxing out the policy premiums. Economic policies at the state and primarily at the federal level. So, like, if insurance wasn't mandated, if you weren't required to have insurance, the prices would have to be a lot more competitive. If the state of Oklahoma didn't say you have to have liability insurance, then there'd be a lot more competitive market for this industry, because, like, we have to have competitive prices, but we also have to make sure that we can realize a profit off of what we're charging our customers too. So it's just the nature of the business. So it's very wishy-washy. Sorry, we kind of went off on a tangent there. So that was kind of the takeaways from the governor's thing is illegal immigration bad. Owasso and Oklahoma's doing pretty good.
Owasso's doing good.
Despite all of the...
Which, like I said, that's part of it. As I said, you can say... He said Owasso's the fastest growing city, one of the fastest growing cities, which we've heard that...
Bixby, though, isn't it?
No, we're one of them. Like I said, but, you have to ask yourself, is that really a good thing or not? Because, like I said, is Owasso going to stay being Owasso if it continues to grow at the rapid rate that it is?
Yeah, I do kind of miss that small town feel. When we just had... nothing's ever going to go back to the way it was. That's kind of the hero's journey things. Like, the hero always realizes nothing's going to go back to the way it was because we're forever changed, So that's the way the town's going to be, too. It just doesn't have that kind of small town feel anymore. It's nice still. It's still a very nice town, but traffic gets worse all the time and all that stuff. So those are just the factors we got to be concerned about a little bit. Maybe we'll not halt the growth altogether, but let's slow it down. Pull back on the reins a little bit there, horsey. But so good. Lieutenant Governor had nothing but good things to say about Owasso, so that's great.
Yes.
Now, the only other big thing that kind of happened news-related wise, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but Nick Saben of Alabama has decided to retire, as well as Bill Belichick is retiring from the Patriots. So, two titans of football, one college, one NFL, of the industry are retiring. Two of the arguably most successful coaches in the NFL's history and in collegiate history.
In recent history, two of the most well-known, too.
Absolutely. With success comes, name recognition. So, but that's really interesting that both of them kind of decide to pull that trigger. Now, you and I both have different reasons as to why we think that this is happening. I think it's just for Saban and Belichick, it's age and stress.
That could easily be the reason. Like I said, I have another theory, and I could be completely wrong, but with the whole change up to the way college has made, you can pay players now, I don't think that these places that were Titans now have the monopoly anymore, as we could kind of see with, Washington kind of coming up out of nowhere in
Colorado
the football.
with Deion Sanders.
Exactly.
And stuff,
there's a new recruitment level to this. Like I said, so it's not like, oh, I need to go to a big school that's got a good reputation to get noticed by recruiters. Now you can go anywhere, get paid by these schools, and that's changed. So now these guys are like, oh, I don't have, at least in the college level anyway, I don't have a monopoly over recruiting anymore.
Yeah, that is true, definitely. I mean, but I don't think that fear of not getting top tier recruits. I think Saban's the kind of guy that commands that level of respect. He's going to get top tier recruits no matter what. Now, sure, you have that money option to pull players away and give them that starting time, but they always had the starting. Just come start here instead of playing, at a top tier school and sitting in the roster for third string. All schools had that power.
Yeah.
Now, I would say Saban's a master at the game. Like, I mean, he might not have liked the idea of paying players, but I think that he would have become a master of gaming that system eventually. I mean, like I said, this thing just rolled out. This is really its first full year in functioning practice. Now, like I said, again, I think it's just going to add another layer of stress to Nick Saban's job. But I mean, like, with as much money as Alabama has in boosters, clubs, fundraising, I don't foresee that they wouldn't have enough money to pull whoever they wanted to at any point in time. It's like, hey, we need an additional $90,000 to pay this freshman walk-on recruit that we don't want to start, but we just want to keep him here. I don't foresee that not being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's specifically why he retired. But again, I just think it's age, stress. I mean, like I said, it's a stressful environment. I mean, when you're functioning at the top level of sports, even if you're a coach, I mean, the burdens of performance is totally insane. Totally insane.
Yep.
I mean, it's lonely at the top. Money talks, bullcrap walks. And it's lonely at the top. We can't stand, and nobody can stand losers. So I think Saban's realizing that since this kind of shakeup comes in, it has nothing to do with him. It's just age. I mean, the guy's got more money. He's got enough to live comfortably for the rest of his life. So, I mean, there's no concern there. I think he makes more than any college, and he makes more than a lot of NFL coaches do. So he's going to be fine. Now, I'm sure he's going to move into and plus he has all those endorsements with Affleck too, so he does all those commercials. So I don't foresee it being an issue, and I'm sure he's going to move into like all famous coaches and quarterbacks and stuff do. He's going to go into the commentator world. That way he's still pseudo-involved, but with a more lazy schedule. Or he's just going to be like a spokesperson for Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, he will be like the representative. Like Bob Stoops he's at every game in the, the super fancy press boxes and stuff. Regardless of whether or not, I'm sure, I doubt he's paying for that press box either. I'm sure that, you just like, hey, Bob, here's your suite. Have a seat, Yeah. That's just the way it is, They want to keep big names around because big names drive interaction with fans. I mean, because like I said, I had one of my buddies from basic training was taking pictures with Bob Stoops, him and his brother. I was like, oh, wow, Bobby's just walking through the concession stand area and people just grabbing him and taking pictures with him. I mean, it's great. It's great for OU. It's great for, the fan base. It's like, oh, there's the greatest coach of all time. Same goes for Saban. You can't imagine how many of them Rammer Jammer Alabama fans, is going to be like, oh, Saban, can I shake your hand and touch your rings? You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're going to be doing. It's the same with Bill Belichick. I mean, he's going to have front line seats to every game that the, Patriots play for all time. Unless he comes out of retirement, it's like, I'm coaching Brady again. He goes down and starts coaching down at Tampa Bay, and then they're going to be like, the Patriots are going to be like, never again will he ever be allowed in the stadium, But I don't think that's true either. I think, it's going to be kind of like Kevin Durant, all these people that played at OKC. They always get a standing ovation when they come back, and people just admire and love them in the community. So it is what it is. However, we've gone way longer than I ever anticipated going on this, but there's a lot A lot going on in the sports, in the world of sports, in the world of Owasso, actually, with like that lieutenant governor stopping in. So there's some good stuff happening. So we just kind of figured we'd give you the update this morning. Drive safe. Have a wonderful day. God bless y'all. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and we are signing off.